What's going on, guys? Chris Gaylor here, Mobility Project 247, 24/7, and we've got this big bag of bands. Okay, so bear with me. Try to get this guy out. That's what I want. So what we're going to do is essentially address some common hip dysfunction. Now, with this technique, we're going to use the band, and it's going to either passively work on pulling our hip into an internal rotation. So a lot of people that I see have extremely tight glutes, external rotators. Maybe their feet are positioned like this, especially if you guys are squatting a lot, if you're doing a lot of different weighted leg bearing things, that your hips are constantly being pulled out. So people that I'm working with right now that I see a lot of are really tight glutes and external rotators. So this is a passive stretch that you can use to help pull your hip into an internal rotation, which is going to start to stretch and relax the back external rotators. Also, it's a twofold. So if you find yourself in this position, okay, a knee valgus, it's called valgus, it kind of forms like an L with the angle of the knees. But if you're stuck in this position, or you find yourself very weak and you do a lot of this, what's really happening is now my hip is being pulled into internal rotation, and I need to actually strengthen the glutes and the external rotators. So this can be used as a passive stretch if you have tight glutes and external rotators to help loosen those up, but it can also be used as an active movement to strengthen the external rotators if you have this thing going on. So it's a twofold, right? It just depends on how it's being applied and how we're using it. So what I'm going to do is basically hook this band right up under the glute, okay? If you're a guy, just make sure you're clearing your junk because it's not too pleasant. And we're basically just going to wrap this band around the other leg, okay? Put some good tension to it. You're going to come around that thigh, right? This is a really tight band. And you're just going to try to anchor it. Bear with me, guys, bear with me. It's not the most graceful looking activation. All right, so come a little bit closer. This band is wrapped around, okay? It's hooked from here. We've got some tension. It's pulling across the front, and what it's doing is, if I'm relaxed, it's pulling this hip this way. So it's pulling me into an internal rotation. Now, like I said, if these guys are really tight, I want to address the hip, and this is going to help pull that hip internally and stretch the backside of the body, okay? So this is when I can just hang out. I can do this to actively feel that activation. Now, as I said, if you're doing this type of squat and it's pulling your knees in, well, what I got now is I have to actively force this hip, right, open against this banded tension. So this is going to strengthen my glutes and start to loosen up the front internal rotators and the adductors, so that I can open up my hip, strengthen this, so when I do walk, you don't see this, but I'm actually trying to force that open to stabilize and to activate. So this is just a basic stretch, guys. If I'm just stretching, all I'm doing is hanging out. I'm letting it pull my hip internally. If I want to activate the glutes, I can basically do my open step, close, open step, close. If I'm going to walk, you can see it wants to pull my knee in. If I'm going to walk, I'm going to work on keeping that leg straight and firing that glute so that it works correctly. If you're losing circulation, please unhook that band. But guys, try that one out. It's great. The body works in a vortex spiral the whole time. So it's not just kind of forward, back, side to side. Everything is kind of moving together with the spiral line. and the different fascial nets in the system. So that one's great. You've got, again, 2 reasons you're doing it. One, to either stretch the backside and the glutes, external rotators. 2, to either activate the external rotators, depending on how you're applying it and how it's being moved. All right, guys, hope that helps you. Check it out, try it, and I'm sorry the video is so long, but it's kind of a tough explanation. All right, stay tuned for more Mobility Project 24/7.